Welcome back to the Leadership Lab with Joe. So, the show where we explore leadership, growth, and the human side of business. Today's guest works closely with executives, leaders to help them lead with clarity, confidence, and emotional intelligence in increasingly complex environments. Janice Lichtenwaldt. So, she's actually an executive leadership coach and the founder of Virago Coaching. Janice, welcome. Tell us a bit more about your journey and the kind of leaders you work with today.
So I work with senior, mid-level to senior leaders who are in transition, typically, like transition, like leveling up.
Yeah.
And so that's the main part of the main focus of my business. And then I also run a business called Coaching Business Builder 101 to
Oh,
help new coaches building their businesses,
that's
helping
awesome.
them with the foundational elements. So I've kind of got two paths that I work on. But with the leaders, what almost always happens is when leaders get promoted into a new role,
Yeah.
you'd think that there would be celebration. Woo! I got promoted. I'm so proud. But we actually see that leaders take a dip in confidence
Yeah, I agree.
because they've moved up and they don't know everything that they need to know yet. They have room to fill their cup, if you will.
A
And
lot of
so
expectations.
a lot of expectations, there's a lot of unknowns. And so there can be kind of a dip in that confidence. And
Agree.
so it's a great time. It's a great time to get a coach when
Mhm.
you have just moved into a new role to help you step back to see the situation from multiple perspectives, because no one perspective is the right perspective, but to
Yeah.
see it from multiple perspectives so that you can be in choice about how you react or respond.
That's great explanation. Thank you for that. So, if you can describe like your role at Virago Coaching, how do you typically engage with leaders that comes in and asking for help, whether they got promoted, as you mentioned, or even having the same role that they had, but they're feeling like they're kind of struggling or something?
Sure, sure. So I have been very blessed in my coaching career. So I've been doing this for about 10 years now, almost a decade. And that came off, 25 plus years in corporate. So came out of corporate and started coaching. And I have been very blessed in that at this point in my career, most of my private practice is through referrals. So I don't do any advertising.
I see.
I get most of my private clients through referrals, and that's not the only way. I also have contracted with an organization called Sounding Board for
Yeah.
the last 7 years. And so I work with them. They do leadership coaching solely. They were recently purchased by BTS out of Sweden. And so they have a hard focus on leadership. So I get coachees that way. And I also get coachees through my private practice. And I always in my private practice, I always do a chemistry session or exploratory session. I always give a free 30-minute exploratory session because I would like to think at this point in my career, I'm a good coach, maybe even a great coach, but I'm a great coach for specific people. I'm not a great coach for everybody. And so
Mhm.
what I tell people, especially if they've never had a coach before, I insist that they go talk to at least two, if not three other coaches, because the success of coaching is really built on the strength of the relationship between the coach and the coachee, right? And so it's important for the client to get the person that they resonate with the most. And it doesn't mean that they maybe like them the most or think they're the nicest, but it's the one who they feel is going to hold them, is going to help them reflect, who's going to be honest with them, that they feel they can be honest.
I see. I see. That's great actually how you handle that. Like there's a lot of coaches missing this kind of partnership or relationship between you and whoever will be dealing with you. Like they forget that part and they just focus on the practical part, which is really a mess.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
like could you tell me what is the typical coaching engagement looks like for you?
So I think mine is pretty standard within the coaching industry. Initially, I ask for a 6 month commitment,
Yeah.
12 sessions roughly every other week. Because if you try to meet more earlier, like every week, Sometimes, so sometimes in the very beginning of a relationship, like doing the first 4 sessions one after the other for, for 4 weeks in a row can be really great,
Yeah.
builds rapport, gets momentum going. But what I have found and what the studies show and experience shows is if you meet every week, then the coachee doesn't have a chance to go experiment, because coaching isn't just about having a good conversation, it's about action. So you have the exploration, and then at the end, you're like, okay, what do you want to go try? What do you want to go experiment with? And you need to give the coachee time to go
Yeah.
experiment. So 2 weeks is a good amount of time. And then if you go longer than 2 weeks, you can lose the thread. You can start to forget what was being worked on. So two
Yeah.
weeks seems the sweet spot.
It's it's in between. Like you could balance more. You could let them experience that more, so you can know where's the parts that needs support or needs help, where you can focus on.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So that's how I go. And then, in the beginning, we have a discovery session to learn a little bit more. But I have a bias for action and getting into it. So I don't spend a lot of time with because I have them fill out a pretty extensive
Or something.
form in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I know a lot about them. So I'll ask
Yeah.
them, what do you really want me to know? What do you want to point me to?
Yeah.
And then we really get into it. And one of the things that I've been given feedback on is that build rapport pretty quickly. And that's an important thing, trust and rapport with the client. So if I feel like we've built some good rapport, I just go in and start with the meat of the coaching. Then on the end of the engagement, at the last session is always a reflection on where have you come? What have you learned about yourself? And then how do you want to really implant and embed what you've learned so you don't lose it? Because coaching, there should be a start date and an end date. And then if the client chooses that they want to re-engage, then you have another engagement. But they should feel like there's an arc and it is complete. As a great coach, you don't ever want your clients to feel dependent on you for answers.
Yeah.
Hopefully, through your coaching, you have helped them be their own answer machine. They can figure out how to do this on their own.
They have to be confident enough to go through this themselves. Like if they just depends on you in each and every detail, at the end, like if they feel like there is no end for this coaching thing, they will just rely on you each and every time.
Yeah.
So
And then I think a little resentment can start to come in there. And it's like, why, and I'm a pretty independent person myself, and I want to encourage as many people as possible to be in. I ask for help all the time. I have no problem asking for help.
yeah,
And, we have agency.
I see. Yeah, actually, like even asking for help, like it's something doesn't underestimate whatever you're doing. Like this is the real thing. Like just forgetting about ego. Everyone is not perfect.
No,
Everyone of us, like
yeah.
looking for help at a specific point. I maybe have the most experience in this, but I'm not that in technology, or I'm not that in when it comes to this or that. So
I have
there's
an example to share with you from a client I spoke with yesterday. So it's a large fintech organization,
okay.
and their CMO, they've created a internal mentor program. The
Yeah.
CMO has asked one of their junior people to mentor him on AI because he doesn't know enough about AI, but this junior person who's younger and
Yeah.
knows this a
Yeah.
little
Knows
bit
a lot
better.
better.
And he's like, I don't know this. Would you mentor me? And I think that is such a beautiful thing because he's the CMO.
Yeah.
He's supposed to have all the answers. He's like, no, I'm not supposed to have all the answers. That's not realistic.
That's the spirit. Like no one has all the answers every time. It's about you ask the right people for the right thing. Whenever you just feel you're stuck, it's totally fine just to go to just search for the right answer for
Ask-
whoever
it-
could help.
and it's, I have clients who are like, oh, I'm afraid if I ask for help, they'll think that I'm not competent, or they'll
Yeah.
think that there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And I challenged them and said, well, what would happen if one of your employees who did this skill, a skill well, but came to you and said, I really want to be better at it. I'd like to take this training. I'd like to do this. Will you invest? What would you think? And they're like, I think that would be amazing. So then what makes it
Yeah.
different for you? They're like, nah.
That's a good example. So tell me, like, How has your own leadership experience shaped the way you coach others? How was that having an effect?
That's a great question. The tradition of coaching I practice is coactive coaching and the CTI. And CTI has been around for over 30 years. It's one of the
Mhm.
original coaching schools. And CTI, in addition to their coaching program, has a leadership program, a 10-month leadership program where you go away on 4 week-long retreats in community with others and you get pushed. You learn about yourself, you learn about working with others, you learn about creating from everything. That, and I have an MBA, but I like to say it was a hippie MBA. It was an alternative MBA in 2007 to 2009 through the lens of sustainability. So I've invested in programs to help open up my perspectives and actually make me really asking for help was probably the biggest thing I learned in all of that. And that if you can, we're also worried about being judged and all the worst case scenarios. And if we can flip that script and come at it from a place of abundance and look at it as opportunity and asking for help. Now, we also have to take care of ourselves. We have to know if we work for someone who maybe doesn't appreciate asking for help, then yeah, take care of yourself, be careful. But my leadership, how I coach, I try really hard to be neutral when meeting with someone, no judgments, because of course everybody has their own way of being. But I
So
do
true.
have some philosophies, and I'm pretty transparent with my clients about it. So one of my philosophies is that if you understand your core values, you really truly understand them, and you make your decisions through the filter of your core values, you will lead a more satisfying life. And that you're making decisions on based on what feeds you, not on what's going to make other people happy, because you can't guess what it's going to make other people happy. So you're constantly chasing things. So focus in on yourself and look at your own core values. Make those decisions. And I think that also makes for strong leaders. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that answers the question perfectly. Like, thank you so much for that answer. Yeah,
Yeah.
you answered it really well, like from different perspectives. So thank you so much for that. So, like, let's shift to the industry trends we see nowadays. Like, what major shifts are you seeing in the leadership right now, especially at the executive level?
Do you remember when VUCA was the big phrase that everybody was using? Have you ever heard that term, VUCA?
To be honest, no.
No. Okay, so VUCA here was I'm in the States. Volatile listeners right now are probably screaming at the podcast going, it's this, but it's about everything's volatile, uncertain, chaotic. It's just everything's moving so fast. And that VUCA came into existence a long time ago. And it's even accelerated now. There is the economy and how business decisions are made. It's easier when things are stable. Well, in the world right now, there's not a lot of stability in
No,
anything,
unfortunately, yes.
right? And
Yeah,
so to be an
unfortunately.
executive, because executives, when you get up to, the C-suite, the job of the executives is to look out on the horizon and help direct where the company or the organization is going to go in 5 years or
Yeah.
10 years or whatever it is. And it's the day-to-day line managers that are doing the daily operations if things are working well. To be an executive now and try to figure out where a company's going to be in 5 years is almost a joke. I mean, look how fast AI has that AI is ubiquitous through everything. It is in everything I see. People are either talking about it, figuring out how to try to invest in it. People are just throwing money at the wall with it. And it's like, maybe take a breath, figure out why
Yeah.
you want to use AI. So I see a lot of money being wasted. And the instincts are good, but but that is these executives are at their wits' end. It's hard to know what to do right now because there's nothing that's stable.
Yeah, with today's economy, nothing's stable at all. If we're gonna talk about this year, what's gonna happen this year? No one knows. No one knows. Literally
No
nobody
one
knows.
knows.
Not for the next
Well,
5 years. Not even this year.
yeah, not even in the next 3 months, you don't know what's going to go on. I mean,
The situation in the whole world is just going insane. Like nobody can expect anything.
no, well, and with like tariffs in the United States, it has really impacted. I had some clients that were in businesses that depended on steel. And
Yeah.
they're like, you don't know. Is there a tariff? Is there not a tariff? What do we do? How do we handle it? And so I
Oh,
think also a lot of companies, there's some caution, of course, because they have a
yeah.
fiduciary responsibility. And so it's like, well, maybe we need to just sort of circle the wagons, as we say, to be a little conservative right now because we don't know what's going to happen. So there's just a lot of uncertainty. So executives right now, feel for them. It's hard, and there are no answers. It's not even like, well, if you work hard, there are no answers. So you
Yeah,
gotta you
whatever
constantly.
whatever hard they're trying to do, like they might do their work perfectly, and they will not expect what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen even next month. And since you mentioned like about AI as well, like AI is replacing a lot of things nowadays. People just put in a lot of money, huge money in
Mhm,
AI. I agree, it helps in a lot of terms. It really shaped a lot of businesses, shaped a lot of things nowadays. However, there's people just using it blindly. They're not using AI while they're using their mind. If you're using your mind, you know what you're doing. You know that this is a tool. You're not the tool. Some people using it as they are the tools, and AI is just what moves them for whatever. So
mhm.
that there's a huge difference between that, and there's a lot of people in conflict in this, to be honest.
It is very true. I was at the International Coaching Federation's conference called Converge
Mhm.
in San Diego last year, at the end of last year, and the discussion of AI was ubiquitous throughout the entire conference. And there's a continuum of their coaches on one side who are like all in and are like, yes, I can see the value. I can see how this can support my clients. It's amazing. And then there's the coaches on the other end who are like, afraid this is going to take our jobs away. This is going to replace us.
No way.
And the truth is,
It's just a combination. If you know how to deal with today's whatever updates, you
yeah,
always have to work in yourself for each and every update, each and every day. No one is perfect. No one will be perfect. And no one has like let's say enough experience. You got 10, 20, 30, 40 years of experience. There's still updates every day. You still
oh,
need
I
to work
agree.
on yourself. If you feel like you reached the end, this is for me, this is the beginning of the failure. A huge failure.
And I think that for coaches who've been doing this for 30, 40 years, there was a way of coaching, and coaching is evolving. And that's one of the things I love about the ICF, the International Coaching Federation,
Yeah.
is they don't move too fast, which is sometimes frustrating, but they don't move so fast that they're missing things. So it's this nice, like, so it's evolving as well. Like, what is coaching? What is considered good coaching? New studies come out about what's actually effective, and it can slightly shift how we're doing things. And I think, if I'd done something for 40 years and then someone came in and said, look at this new shiny dangly thing, woo, I'd be like, really? I learned something new right now. And so I understand, but I actually created my own AI, my own coaching AI through a
That's
company
one.
called Coach Vox. And it's built on the ICF principles.
When
And
was that?
I built it at the end of last year.
Last year. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So at the end of
Mhm.
the 2025. All right. And how's that working?
Well, I don't know. I built it and put it out there for clients to use in between sessions if they wanted to. And frankly, I built it towards the end of the year, and then I took two solid weeks off at the end of the year. I mean, I completely stepped away. By the end, I was a little itchy. I wanted to get back to work. And so
Yeah.
I'm jumping back in actually this week to look at it and see how I can build it. But I wanted to experiment. I wanted to see what was going on. And it's the clients that I've sent it to, because I built it on me, on
Mhm.
my writing, my philosophies. I don't have it connected to the internet to learn things. It's just my stuff
It's just you,
and
and that's
just
great
me.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And so and you can have it include some of your own, like one of the things that I say often when clients tell me something good, I'm like, sweet. It's just a thing I do. And I realize I do that. So I put that in as a response. So if they say something in the AI, I'm like, in the AI. And they say it sounds like me and it does seem to be supportive. No, it's not there to replace a juicy, meaty session. There's a connection that happens live in the session, but I've gotten good feedback. We'll see where it goes.
No.
It's an experiment.
Yeah, let's see how it's gonna go. Like I'll actually follow up on this myself. Like, I'll need to know what are you going to reach in that, and it's really interesting how you do this. Nowadays, like,
I'll
there's
send you a link to it so you can play with it if you want to.
thank you so much. That would be really my pleasure. Like, I see people nowadays like doing this with their experience, and it's really good for new generation to use these tools just to learn, just to face whatever from your past experience. That's really helpful, especially for those new leaders joining the industry. So I
Oh,
do agree
yeah.
with that.
Yeah, the new leaders, I don't know, I have opinions. I have opinions, Joseph. Especially, so I mostly work in technology and have my career was in technology. And
Yeah.
what I see happen over and over is leaders are hired or promoted into people management roles
Hmm.
because they were good at the technical side, but they're given no training on the people side.
Yeah.
And that can make for a really bad manager. I Leadership to me is a sacred responsibility. That's another philosophy I hold. If you're going to be a leader of people, it is a sacred responsibility because you have impact on not just your employees, but your employees' families and
Yeah.
friends. Because if you negatively impact this human, they go out into the world and
They
that,
They spread all this into the world, to their families, to their friends, to their close ones. Like
yeah,
there's a lot of leaders nowadays, they do not notice this thing, and it's actually so critical. They don't put in mind, they just, dealing with it as just work. This will end at work. No, it will leave an impact, and this impact will leave impact on others as well. So I
yes.
really appreciate mentioning that because there's a lot of leaders missing this point and they're just dealing with whatever without being human. This is
I,
really important. We're missing this
I
point a lot.
I think that there are many tech companies now who have the roles of like principal engineer or principal something, so that there's a path for
Yeah.
those folks who are technically excellent and intellectually bring so much value to the organization, but they don't want to be people managers. They're like, I just want to code and be creative and code. Just leave me in my room. But in order for them to grow, they're like, the only path I have is to move into this thing I don't want to do and manage people, and I don't want to. And so that does not make for a really, great
Yeah.
experience for anybody. So
Yeah.
I love that the people are starting to create these paths for technologists who are really good at what they do and don't
Mhm.
want to. It's perfectly fine not to manage. I love that people are aware that I don't want to manage people. Fabulous.
Yeah.
Don't. Please don't.
I totally agree. So, like, tell me what skills or mindsets do you think are the most underestimated in leadership today?
It is always surprising to me. It doesn't seem to matter what level of leader I'm working with. Could be first time leader or delegation. People do not delegate well. And that seems kind of trite, but I worked with the CIO who said to me, and I share this with pretty much every client I have, when he ended his day, he would look at what he did and he would ask himself, did I work on things that only I could work on?
Hmm.
And if the answer was yes, he was like, it was a good day. And if the answer was no, then he's like, how am I going to change this for tomorrow? Who am I going to delegate this to? Who am I going to ask for support and help? Because when we do work that isn't ours, we're
Hmm.
cheating ourselves and we're cheating the people who could be learning
Yeah.
from doing that.
Yeah.
And some leaders don't delegate out of guilt. Like, my people, they've worked so hard. I don't want to overburden them. Understand and help them prioritize, help them navigate. Look at what's going on and say, are we doing too much? And
Yeah.
have the leadership
Just
courage to put.
listen. If they just listen to them, it's gonna help a lot. There's a lot of leaders, they don't listen, and this is a very important thing for leaders. They have to listen to their employees. They have to listen for each
Absolutely.
and everything. It's gonna help both ways. The company, the employees, even the leader themselves, how he
Mhm.
gonna deal with them.
Yes. Another mindset is making it. We touched on this earlier, but understanding that they don't have all the answers, and they're not going to have all the answers. And to loosen their grip a little bit and trust their employees, trust their people. And if they don't trust their people, then change that. Do something that can help you trust your people. And if it's your own issue that you don't trust anyone, well, then you have to go do some personal work
Yeah,
because,
I agree. Like trust, like has to be in there. If there is no trust, both of them, they're not going to be able to work and just
Mhm.
do it effectively in the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. And the last thing I'd say is, and this is, we've been talking around this the whole time, leaders must have a growth mindset. They must. A fixed mindset is
1,000%.
it's the fastest, it's brittle, it's easy to break. You've got to have that flexibility and that growth mindset, and it requires effort for sure, but ultimately it will provide more ease when you can surf the waves rather than fight the waves. It's going to be a heck of a lot easier.
Just to adapt with each and every change they will go through, because there's a lot of changes nowadays from a lot of things. One of them is economy, as we just talked earlier. So they have to put in mind about change. They have to be ready for this change anytime. This is what comes the flexibility that you just mentioned. Yeah.
And there are so many other things, but I think those
Yeah,
are some good ones.
they're really good. So what's working really well for leaders who are thriving right now, from your perspective?
Being present, intentionally slowing down, being present and reflecting, not just go, 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 go. That those leaders who take the time to relax, to carve out even a 30-minute in a week to reflect on what's going on, to think about what's happening, and to be really present in what's going. Put down your phone, to put down your laptop, be with your people. That investment will return dividends.
I totally agree. There's a lot of leaders, or not just leaders, like a lot of people nowadays, just forget about this part. It's really important. I
I
totally
spend an hour every morning
Mhm.
journaling and reflecting. And well, it's not always an hour, it's somewhere in there, but I know that when I started journaling, um, it brought me it brings you present.
Yeah.
It brings you present, and it's a great. And I was not a journaler. I'm one of those people that I don't know if you know anything about the Enneagram. Are you familiar with the Enneagram? Okay, the
Well,
Enneagram is a system, but I am an Enneagram 7, and an Enneagram 7 wants all the things,
oh,
shiny, new, all, yeah. And so I always thought that journaling sounded like a great idea, and I would go if I bought a prettier journal or a fancier journal, I would journal. And I have like 20 journals that like the first page is done and then nothing, I gave up. But then through my coaching journey, one of the things I realized that I was missing as a
mhm.
coach was self-reflection, and I wasn't doing a good job of it. So I was like, I'm going to do this. I want to be the best coach I can possibly be. It means I need to do this. And so now I journal faithfully every day, and it does make a difference. And it was not easy, but I did it. I
Well,
forced myself, and now I don't feel good if I don't do it.
I appreciate you're mentioning this out loud, like, in front of all the people gonna listen to that. That's really inspiring. Yeah. So what do you think, like, where the leaders most often get stuck nowadays? Like, even if they are the most talented, the most experienced leaders, where's the point that they get stuck, most of them?
That they think there's something wrong with them because they don't know what to do.
Okay. So here comes the self-doubt, the start.
Yes, and that there's something wrong with them, or there's something that they're not. They start with the negative talk that I'm doing something wrong because I can't keep up with everything, or I don't know what the next step is supposed to be, and so it starts to chip away at their self-confidence, and then people start to behave badly. And if people can just again get present and realize everything's in chaos, do the best you can. It doesn't mean that you are abdicating your responsibilities. You're not, but it's like take a deep breath and yeah, things are crazy. So what do you want to do about it? Let's do it together. Let's bring people together. But it's I have to do it alone, and there's something wrong with me because I don't know what to do. I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest trap right now.
Yeah, I agree. So, what do you think, like, when leaders come to you and just ask you, what is the issue they don't all say out loud. Like, what is the thing that mostly they don't say it out loud. They just you could feel that.
That I'm not good enough. That it's underneath. It's just always under the surface that I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough, and I'm going to get caught. Someone's going to figure out that I'm a fraud. Some people call that imposter syndrome, but it is that undercurrent of people are going to figure out that I'm not as good as they think I am. That is almost everyone has a little tinge of that.
Yeah.
And they
I
don't
agree.
they and
It's something human. Like we all have this, but in different percentage.
yeah. And the trick in my perspective is the trick is to feel that, to experience that, but change the narrative and say, I have something I get to learn. I have opportunity to learn. Not, gosh, I'm lacking, but oh gosh, I have opportunity. And
Right.
how we talk to ourselves is, is what will become the reality. So if you tell yourself you're not good enough and everybody sees that you're a fraud,
Yeah.
that is what your reality will be. If you say, hey, I've got some opportunities here, I get to go learn something,
Right.
I would offer that would be a better perspective to hold.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's right. So where do you want, let's shift back to your business. Where do you want to take Virago coaching over the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, thank you for asking. I've been thinking about this.
So yeah, we gathered to here. You could, yeah, you could have a better perspective about this as well.
I was lucky enough last year, towards the end of the year, to do an in-person team event,
Okay.
with team training,
Yeah.
using the Enneagram.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll come back and talk to you about the Enneagram. I love it. And it was so satisfying and exciting to be in a room with actual humans in a
Mhm.
room together doing good work. So where I'd like to take Virago coaching is to do more teamwork,
Yeah.
in-person work, being with other humans in relationship. I love what I do. Love being a coach. Love having conversations like this. And there's something extra juicy about being in a room with other humans. And we lost that in the pandemic. And
Yeah.
I want to bring a little bit of that back in my life. And to that end, I am taking, as coaches, you've probably experienced this with other coaches, but we are training junkies. We will take pretty much any training you put in front of us. And after a decade, I finally got to the point where I'm like, no more training. I'm no more training. And I am doing a training in February in Los Angeles. Lego Serious Play. Have you heard of this?
No, to be honest, but I'll do my research about that. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
Lego Serious Play, and it's a way of doing team building by using Lego blocks.
Yeah.
And you ask questions, you ask people to actually build something with their Legos that represents what they're thinking. And so it helps them deepen their thinking, and it helps tap into a different part of their brain because they're having to put their thoughts into action, like they're having to build something. And I've experienced it a couple times, and it's been so powerful. So I'm going to go do the training and hopefully be able to go and take that into offices with actual humans for the year. So that's
That's
really,
really that's really great. I hope like some of the audience, if they would like to engage in that, to reach out to you and just be there.
please. It's so much fun, and it's such a great way to get people to bond together, to learn about each other. Oh,
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah, yeah, right. So, are there like new leadership challenges or opportunities you want to focus on more deeply that
You talked about the coach who works with families,
Oh,
family
yeah. Yeah,
businesses,
yeah, the
and
business
he
coach.
only has like 3 or 4 or 5 because he really wants to be able to focus deeply on them.
Yeah.
Um, that's where I want to do even more focus. So providing more materials, more
Yes.
resources to clients.
To the
And
clients that you're actually dealing with, like not to deal with a lot of clients and you feel like you're not giving the right focus and the right effort into each and every
yes,
one of them.
yes.
So you at the end of the day you feel lost or you feel like you didn't put enough effort in with this client or that client.
Yes. And it's also something I haven't mentioned yet, but my other passion is silversmithing, metalsmithing, jewelry, and I'm actually doing a diploma program in that right now.
Okay.
And so I also want to make space for doing that work as well. And so trying to find a balance. And I'm doing the jewelry work for me. I'm not planning to become a jeweler full time, but it brings me great pleasure. And it's something with coaching. it's heart focused, it's energetic, it's cerebral, it's the thinking side. And the jewelry work is I get to put my hands on things and make things. And
Mhm.
so it helps to balance out how I am in the world. And that's important.
That's really important. That's really important to mention.
I
Just
would
one core
love,
challenge that you feel you
yeah,
face with most of with most of the leaders you see nowadays, that how they deal with everything.
get grounded and believe in yourself.
This
Everything
is like the
else
shots. Yeah.
comes from that. If you are grounded and
Hmm.
present
Yeah.
and believe in yourself, you can tackle anything that comes at you because you have the presence of mind to know when to ask for help, when to delegate, when to deflect, to be more strategic, and not to be in a place to respond to stimulus, not react to it.
Right. Let me ask you, do you believe in fake it till you make it?
Yes. Yes, I do. I do believe in that because what we say to ourselves starts to become real. So if you tell
Yeah.
yourself you
Just
can do
unconsciously
something,
you start acting like this without knowing.
yep.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yes, I do believe in the fake it till you make it. Yeah, I do.
That's great. Before we end that, like, would you like to give an advice to people out there, like trying to take the same track or the same way, or even for the younger generation who's thriving and who's going through leadership positions and starting doing this, especially the last generation? What would be this advice?
Well, advice would be as irritating as the older generations are, there is some wisdom to be gleaned. So think of the older generations, the older leaders with experience more as elders with some wisdom, but they're also, flawed humans. But know that there is some wisdom there
Yeah.
and take advantage of any opportunity you have to learn. The advice I give when I was in corporate and had a team of people, I would say to them, be the most expensive employee you can be,
Yes.
meaning take advantage of every learning opportunity. If there is a L&D budget that you can use to go take classes,
Fully.
do it, take
Never,
it.
never on yourself. Never ever.
Yes. So just and look at skills that you can acquire that will round you out to make you so as you continue to move up in the career, that it opens your perspective and your horizons.
Hmm.
So just learn as much as you can and take advantage of all the opportunities
I
and
totally
give your
agree.
elders a break. Know there's some wisdom there, even though they're irritated.
That, yeah, that's right. There's a lot of people missing that out there. Thank you so much for the advice. So, Janice, like, this has been a really thoughtful conversation. Thank you so much for sharing such grounded and practical insights into leadership. That was it for today. Until we have our new podcast, stay tuned and have a great day.
Thank you.
That was great. That was great, Janice. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the whole conversation with you, and I would love to meet you in person later on. Actually, I have my mom in the US, by the way.
Where's she at?
Yeah, she's in Illinois.
Illinois.
Yep.
Wait, Chicago? At least it's
So,
like Illinois. It's in the middle of the state. Yeah.
I am sorry. So, yeah, it was really great having your perspective and all these things. It's even helped me before helping the
Aw.
people and the audience we will be reaching. I would love to send you the copy once we just post it on Spotify.
I'll promote. I'll
One,
promote the heck out of
one,
it.
once we will have it, I'll absolutely send it right away just to let people out there just learn from what you shared with me today. It was really interesting. Thank you so much for attending today and for having this conversation.
Yeah, thank you. You are a delight. You are energetically just a beautiful human. And I really enjoyed this. So thank you for the opportunity to talk about things I love to talk
Thank you so much for that. Actually, anytime if you think like you would love any kind of help in regards to AI or CRM, anything like that, we actually like we go partners with business coaches, people
about.
just like you, with anything
Oh,
related to AI and stuff like
okay.
that. I'll be happy to help in any of this. I could, yeah, anytime
Nice.
like you feel something like that, absolutely open. Just send me an email. Just shoot me an email to the same email. If you'd like to go for a kind of call that we could discuss this more. You mentioned that you're working currently on referrals, right? If you would like to expand in this, to see how you could actually reach more businesses in this field, or even to have something specific that helps you with your work day to day, weekly, monthly, yearly, anything, just feel free, or we can actually set other call, like whenever you have time possible, we could discuss this. I would happy
Okay.
engage in that and could be
Thank you,
the best
Joseph.
partner for this.
Well, and if I ever make it to Egypt and to Cairo, I'm
Mom,
calling you.
you have to. You have to
I,
for
I promise.
yeah.
I
I
promise. And it's something I've really wanted to do. So you might be seeing me.
I'll be waiting for that. I'll send
Okay.
you a LinkedIn as well. So if you'd love to book in a like this next call where we could discuss this if you're open to that.
At
Just tell
this
me
point,
what's going
I'm
on.
not, yeah, at this point I'm good. I've got the work that I'm doing with Coach Fox, and that's been helpful.
Yeah.
But I don't know where things will go. So we'll see.
Anytime. Yeah, my email's
Okay.
just right there, and I'll be waiting and open for this anytime.
All
Thank you
right.
so much,
Thank you,
Janice.
Joseph.
You have a good day.
Mwah. Bye.